What's up everyone, Mr. Mo here. Today we're going to be going over Marauders, which is a new extraction-based looter shooter game that's coming out to early access October 3rd. I figured this video will help out all the new people joining and playing the game to go over some basic beginner steps and how to get ready to get into a raid and what to do to get out and make the most amount of money. So once you load in, the first thing you want to do is you want to get your character ready. You head on over to the gear tab right here. You have your stash. When you're just starting out the game at level 1, you're going to get some beginner items that are basically free items, couple guns, couple handguns. You'll get some healing items, some food, some sack packs. You know, first thing you want to do is you want to equip the bag. Basically, as long as you equip the backpack, you have more space to bring out more loot that you're able either to hoard or to sell to make more money. You have 2 primary weapon slots. I only go in with 1 primary weapon. Make sure you bring enough ammo because you will be shooting it and burning through it like crazy. You do get a helmet and an armor slot. We'll throw in the Stahlhelm and the M2 flag vest. Some of the vests that you equip will have pockets, and if it does have a pocket, you're not allowed to stash it in a backpack. Always got to keep that in mind when you're looting out in the field. Also, don't forget to bring in medical items. These bandages will heal you up if you take a little bit of damage. You also have things like first aid kits, which will do the same thing as a bandage but give you more health back. And there's also food cans and waters, give you back a little bit of health. You can buy them from any trader that you see. I typically don't bring in more than 1 firearm, as that way I have this slot, and this slot to bring out firearms from NPCs. You could take out another primary, a sidearm, and a melee weapon that you're able to either scrap or sell to the traders after the raid. Next off, we're going to go into the traders, which are basically the people you go to when you're down and out or you need to sell. There's 4 different factions in there, so there's 4 different raiders. You have Kingdom, Central, United, and then the Pirates. Each one have their own reputation with your character. As you do quests or contracts, as they're called in the game, you can raise their reputation, which basically in turn gives you a better discount from them, and you can actually unlock new items to purchase from them. They do switch out every 15 minutes, so you want to keep your eye out. They don't all carry the same type of weapons and ammo. As for example, this one's carrying 9mm and 32 ACP. The next one could only be carrying 10mm. As you see, we already purchased a few weapons. We bought 2 assault rifles or Sten Mark IIs. We bought some well-rod pistols. This is just, I bought those items so we could get into the next part of it, which is crafting. Once you head over to the crafting menu and you leveled up your character, you're able to unlock crafts. The Bowie knife, you need to be level 1. One of these coins and $300. We'll just unlock that. When you highlight the item, it'll show you what you need. Let's go over to the bandage. You need 1 synthetic scrap, which we do have right up here. We're going to craft that. 15 seconds go by and our bandage will be ready. If you're down and you don't have any materials that you can use to craft, you could always scrap certain items. We're going to scrap these items that we bought off of the trader. It shows us right there. So 60% chance of metal scrap, 40% chance of junk scrap. Scrap all of these items right here. And this is what we got. You can control click to automatically put it in your inventory. We got some metal scraps. Let's make some lockpicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once these lockpicks are done, we'll start getting into another raid. Scrapping does work differently for what type of item. If you're going to scrap armors, you can scrap armors and you potentially going to get different types of materials. The higher tier the weapon or armor is, the better materials you get in return for crafting. The next tab is your appearance. You can change the color of your suits. You can change the helmet that your character is currently wearing. I do like to have the SAS helmet. It's my favorite one. Next, we're going to talk about the contracts in the game. In the game, there's 2 types of contracts. There's daily contracts, which help you get items, rewards, and level up your factions. And then there's the linear one, 0 to hero, which is for your pirate rank. The 0 to hero missions are linear quests that you use to unlock certain recipes and materials and even certain cosmetic items for your character. These do not have any time limit. They'll just tell you what to do. As you start finishing this task and complete them in, you'll get certain rewards. As for the next one, we have to examine the merchant frigate engine for 25 seconds, and this unlocks a cosmetic Outlaw Uniform, which is pretty nice to wear. And as you go down the line, basically there's all different types of materials. You can unlock recipes for new weapons, new melee items, the blowtorch. There were grenades in the past test. They took out the nades for this one, but certain items are locked behind this 0 to hero quest line. So you do want to get that done, and it's kind of fun because some of them can be challenging. The other quests we got to talk about are the active daily quests, the contracts. These daily contracts switch out every 24 hours, and they're not too difficult to do. Some of them are as simple as reading paperwork on certain maps. Some of them are as simple as reaching a certain area. Like Recon just has us go to the drill pit. And the air production is just activate the mine air processor. There are other ones like finding the dead NPCs in the furnace. Once you find them, you have to hold down the F button for about 3 seconds as you're scanning them. There's other ones where you have to use specific guns to get a certain amount of kills. There's one where you have to use the well rod pistol and kill 6 personnel. The well rod pistol isn't hard to use, just the fact that it is a single shot. You have to time your shots well. You definitely want to do your daily contracts, as they'll give you a significant amount of XP to level up your character. You can get a good amount of money that you can use to purchase better items, and sometimes they'll even give you a reward as a new gun. For example, one of the quests that you can do gives you the STG-44, which to me is one of the better guns in the game. In your weapons tabs, you'll see all the weapons that you currently have in your inventory. At the moment, I only have 2, the STG-44 and the Uzi. The Uzi currently has the wooden stock, which is a attachment for it. I can remove it, but as you see, if I put it on at the bottom right, it'll show us that we get ADS speed of 24. It goes up to the green, and our recoil goes up as well. You always want to keep a lookout for any modifications that you can either craft or purchase from the vendors, as they'll help you make your guns a little bit better to use in the raids. When you're ready to play, you can either go in solo or you can go in with a crew. Generally, you're going to want to create a crew. Once you create a crew, you put a name and a password to lock it from random people joining you. Give the code out to your friends. You can join in. Keep in mind, whoever is the captain of the crew is the ship that you're going to be using. So if I'm the captain and I have a rust bucket as my main ship, that is the ship that we're all going to spawn in. If one of my friends is the captain and they have the interceptor, when we spawn into a raid, we'll be in their interceptor ship. You always got to keep that in mind by who's captain and who has the better ship. Whoever has better ships, you might want to swap around positions of captain. Also, you can join crews from this menu right here. Majority of the crews will be locked unless you know someone in there. If you don't have a password, they're not going to let you in. A lot of people don't play with random. And there's always just going into a raid solo. You click the launch, you enter the raid solo, and you got to survive. Remember, everything you do bring into a raid, you can lose if you die. So make sure you're getting out alive and you're only taking what's exactly necessary. So once you spawn into a raid, you're inside your rust bucket. Right back here, you get a few items that you're able to loot. These items right here will always spawn inside your rust bucket. It's basically like quick free loadout, nothing too great. It's just a handgun and some extra ammo. If you have friends with you, 2 of them can go on these periscopes to be your eyes outside in the space. One can take over the gunner above, but since I'm solo, I'm gonna fly the ship and I'll be able to control the gunner as well. Once you're in space, you do want to look out for other ships. You can get into some space combat. If you do happen to damage your ship, you can always run into the engine room, pick up the fire extinguishers, and use it on the engine to cool it down and repair your ship. The yellow lights you see above in the area coming up ahead are the entrance docking areas to get into the actual raid. Once we get in there, we'll show you what's going on inside. Once you land inside and your ship is safely docked in, you'll get back into your ship. We're going to head on down to the airlock. And hit these controls right here to open up the airlock. This airlock basically connects your ship onto the actual raid. Once you go through this area, you're in the instance raid, and this is where you can loot, shoot, kill, and repeat, and get out alive. There are all different types of kinds of containers that you can loot. There's going to be boxes, shipping containers, crates, big luggage carts. You're going to see garbage cans, garbage bags. All of these items you can examine to loot them. There's going to be items that spawn inside. Sometimes they'll be empty. The items that do spawn inside are random. They could be anything between heals to ammo, sometimes weapons if the box is big enough. Keep your eye out and remember to search everything. Our gate is research A. You always want to remember your airlock. If you can't make it back to your airlock and you have to leave through a breach pod, you'll lose your current ship that you have activated. You have to leave with the ship that you have in order to keep it. If you use a breach pod, you'll lose your ship. Once you down an enemy, you can go up to them to inspect them, and you're able to take all of their items. This was a player who used the ration to heal, take his hunting knife, and his captain's card. If you're ever in a jam and you can't make it back to your ship, you can always find these little doors right here. These are the breach pods. Once you get into them, you hit F, and this is basically your way to get out of the map. Now, these breach pods can only be used either to breach into a player's ship or to get out of the map. You cannot enter the raid area with a breach pod. You see this used to be yellow, it's red out because the breach pod does not let you dock. we're gonna head on out of here. We got some decent items that we got, and we're gonna be able to sell and make some money. We'll use that money in turn to buy more ammo and armors and get into the next raid. To extract your current raid, you just have to find this big space station I call a hug. You go in right into the middle and you're officially done with your first raid. Post raid screen right here, I killed one player as a marauder and I killed one raider, which is an NPC. Made a little bit of XP, you continue. Didn't level up, now we're back in the lobby, and that's what you consider a full raid right there. Alright Marauders, that's a wrap. I hope this beginner's guide helped you out much. Mr. Mo is signing out of here. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. We are going to be following this game's lifespan. I'm sure the developers have a lot of more stuff they want to put into this game. It's only early access, opening up October 3rd. I'll see you in the skies, and remember to breach each other's ships and be friendly about it. Just kidding, we're taking all your stuff. We are Marauders.